if you haven't seen my first treatment video, go watch that. I'll link it below in the description, but watch that first, because otherwise this probably won't make a bunch of sense, because yeah, whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna get into it. So after I was at residential treatment, then I switched down to partial hospitalization, since my insurance decided that that's what was necessary for them. Whatever, even though that's not what I thought was best, not what my therapists and everything thought was best either, but that's what insurance said, so that's what had to happen. But, so while I was at partial hospitalization, the rules were way less strict than at residential, but I mean, it was still a lot of rules. Like, it was better. And when I went there, I was able to see Faye, and I was able to see a lot of other people that had stepped down while I had been in res. And so that was really great. And the therapists and stuff at PHP were amazing. Like, we had an LGBTQ group, we had we would go around in a circle and introduce ourselves, and there was someone new there, and like everyone would say their pronouns. Like, it was like a paradise. It was amazing. I loved it. It was great. Also, it fucking sucked. But in that sense, in like the respectability sense, it was so awesome. It was great. I'm not gonna get into me and Faye's relationship during this, since I have like so much more. I just have like a lot to say about that, so I could make a whole other 50 videos on that probably. PHP was awesome. I mean, it was a lot more open. Like, we were able to like go chill outside, and like people were able to go on a smoke break and stuff, like if they like finished their meal, or you know, tried or whatever. Like, it was more lenient on the meal times. Like, you know, if you had a few bites left, they weren't gonna like make you boost for it, you know, like they would be like, okay, well, let's just, you know, finish those in the next minute or so, and then you'll be good, stuff like that. And there was like 2 different steps. I never got to the higher up step. I was always on the lower step. But once you eventually got to go up a step, then you could like go out to restaurants and stuff and do that fun stuff, and like go pick your food out at the grocery store. But there's like a lot more fun stuff like that we could do, because it was more about like getting us reassociated with being practical for real life. And I'm really sad that I did not get to be there longer. I really feel like I should have been there for like honestly another 2 months, maybe longer. But that didn't happen because insurance, again. But I'll get to that. So when I first got there, I was honestly a mess. I was doing terribly. I was like, I should go back. I shouldn't be here. This sucks. Like, the meds were super confusing. I was like, I was super happy to be with Faye, but I was like annoyed. I had to have a guy therapist. I was fucking pissed about that. Like, no thank you. Don't want a guy as a therapist. I was not chill with that. Like, I wasn't allowed to swear again, because like there was this one girl who just didn't like swearing, and she was there, so I had to be around her again. Couldn't swear or say anything bad. And I mean, at this point, me and Faye were dating, so then there was also the struggle of trying to keep that a secret from everyone, and also be able to enjoy it and support each other. But yeah, it was just really difficult. In some ways, it was so much better than residential. In other ways, though, like, it's really hard to compare them, honestly. Like, they both bring very different things to the table. Yeah, so they set us up in like our own little apartments, and I had like a roommate. Not the first night, but the second night I had a roommate, and she was awesome. But yeah, so they set us up in this nice, cute little apartment thingy, and we got a shuttle together every morning to go to treatment and stuff, and it was like all day long. And then I think we left treatment at like 6 or something, and it was winter, so it was like dark by that time anyway. And then we like went home, to the apartments and stuff, and then we got to hang out a little bit and stuff, and then we were back on the bus at like 7 the next morning to go back to treatment. But I mean, it was amazing because I got to spend time with people that I'd met there and gotten to know and stuff. And like that was awesome and totally, honestly, worth everything for that experience alone. Just because like I bonded with so many people and it was great. It was also frustrating because it felt like I had stepped down from residential treatment where I wasn't allowed to like, you know, talk about any real issues because people were just trying to get healthy at that point. You know, they were just trying to get people nutritionally stabilized and medically stabilized enough so their brains could function enough to actually do the therapy, and that's what partial hospitalization was about, was the actual therapy aspect of it. And I really don't feel like I got that. You know, I feel like I got the very beginning of it and I feel like it had so much potential and I was like beginning to learn so much there. Like I learned to actually like really love my therapist. He was awesome. He was super helpful and I actually opened up to him about stuff that has happened to me and wrote him like a really long letter about it and told him a lot of stuff that I've never told anyone. And so he really was helping me, but you know, I felt like no one was allowed, because every morning we had these like group discussions. We had our own little like rooms. We had like 2 different rooms with groups where you like hung out and had therapy, and like that was like your group of people that you did stuff with. You did not get to choose it, no, and Faye was not in mine. But so we weren't allowed to talk about trauma or any specifics in those group sessions, which on one hand, yes, I do understand it because you don't want to trigger people and like you don't want to make shit worse for them, and I totally understand and respect that. And at the same time, I felt like there should have been a group for trauma or just talking about that because it was never addressed. We had a group for drug and alcohol abuse, we had a group for like LGBTQ, but not for trauma. And that really bugged me because I felt like that, for most of us there, was our main issue and no one addressed it. So, you know, how far can you really get without addressing the main issue? I mean, it gave me a lot of really great coping skills while I was there. I mean, like it really did. Like I learned a lot about so many different kinds of therapy. I mean, I don't even know where to start beginning to explain to you guys about what I learned there. Yeah, like just really, really good life skills, honestly. But at the same time, learn that one. Say and instead of but, because then it's inclusive to the previous statement and not exclusive to the latter. Anyway, down here on the floor. Angle's not as great, but whatever. Means somebody want to sit on my lap. Yeah, so it was great when Faye was there. PHP was fantastic, but then about maybe a month before I left or something, I don't remember exactly what the timeline was, but they ended up sending her back to Texas, which is where her parents were technically living at the moment, but no one was actually there. So it was kind of like not the best environment. But so she was sent away to go to a different treatment center closer to home. Not home, but where her parents were supposed to be. And when that happened, everything kind of fell apart. It was like near Halloween, and like Halloweens have never been the best time for me. Had some traumatic Halloweens. And so, I mean, it was shortly after that. I think it was right after Halloween. that she had to leave, and it sucked because like I could barely talk to her, you know, because I couldn't have my phone on me. Like we still had to give our phones over and stuff. We had more time to use them and stuff, like at home and when like we weren't at treatment, but still a lot of that. And now my dad's home and he's gonna totally interrupt this. But let me pause this and come back later. Hold on. Okay, so I have to finish off this recording in my room. So my dad is getting ready for friends to come over. I don't remember where it was. Oh yeah, they left, and everything sucked after that. Because I was pretty much alone until a few other people came, and then I was doing better as far as not being lonely, but then the whole not being able to address trauma thing really started being an issue, because before that I was able to like talk to Faye about it and process stuff with her, but since she wasn't around anymore and she was sick and struggling with her own stuff, I wasn't able to really lean on her as much. Yeah, so I mean, it was great for a while, and then it really just started going downhill, because for a while I felt like I was learning a lot about myself, because we did have the LGBTQ group, other queer people there, basically, whatever, sorry if that word offends you, sorry. Yeah, there was other queer people there that I could talk to stuff about, which I hadn't really had before, and I mean, I learned a lot about myself while I was there that I have only shared with like my girlfriend and like maybe one other person. Like I haven't even talked to a therapist about it yet. So, and no, I'm not probably going to share with you for the time being. I'm gonna process it on my own first. It kind of broke my heart when everything started going downhill, because I went there and I was super hopeful and I was so ready to just like recover and, you know, be done with this, done with feeling shitty, and like, you know, just get back to like being who I am. But that didn't happen, and I feel like there's a lot of people that like go to treatment and then like they go to treatment one time and then they like are cured or whatever, and I mean, super awesome for you if you can do that. Like, I'm jealous, but at the same time it's like I think now because of that, people expect that from everyone who attends treatment. Like the first go, you know, just like a few months, like throw them in there, they'll be fixed, they'll come back out brand new and fine. That's not how it works. And I think that was a huge problem for me transitioning out of treatment, because it was about a month and a half into being at partial hospitalization, and my insurance decided to cut me again. And they didn't even let me step down a level. They just were like, nope, we're sending you home. Like, I didn't really get a choice in it at all. Like, at all. Like, everything was just decided for me at 21. Like, you have no idea how incredibly frustrating that is, for your life to be decided for you and where you're going to be living and what you're doing, because, like, some doctors decided that you're not healthy enough to make those choices. Yeah, and so they sent me back with my parents, and pretty much no support. They like gave me a phone call for a dietitian who I met with a few times, and I mean, that was like not really a thing I really was important for me, or that I really needed was a dietitian, because I mean, like, you guys know me, like, that was like the least of my issues. Like, that part of things, not hard for me. It was more of like I needed a therapist and a psychologist and psychiatrist and that kind of stuff. Like, I needed actual psychological help. But my insurance decided that I don't qualify for it anymore. Treatment, anyway. And there are no therapists around here that are qualified to help me that are not already completely full and have like a year-long waiting list. So yeah, I mean, it's just super frustrating. If you've never dealt with any type of mental health issues or ever tried to deal with any type of mental health care, it's so fucking frustrating. Like, there's so much red tape. Just, God, it's the worst thing ever. Like, it just hurts because it feels like you're trying to get better. There's so many people that are trying to help you get better. And then money, purely based off insurance, has to like come in the way of that is really frustrating. Especially because I tried to fight it and I was like, I'm not ready to go home. I'm not okay. I was clearly not okay. None of my therapists thought I was okay enough to be going home. But, you know, my insurance thought I was fine. So, because like my weight was back up to a healthy weight, and apparently that classified me as being stable enough to return home, even though realistically and like if they had actually cared to look close enough, I wasn't, and still am not good enough probably to be just home. But yeah, so it was really disappointing to have to, you know, go through all of that, and it felt like I was kind of starting to make progress before Faye left, and then, you know, like she left and I was knocked off my feet by that because it just came out of fucking nowhere, and it was like incredibly depressing. And then on top of that, then I get sent away from everyone who was my support system, you know, because I was like, okay, well, Faye's gone, but I still have all these other people that I'm really close with who get me, and then that was taken away from me too. So, and then I was sent back to a place where I have to argue whether or not these things actually exist for me. You know, so that's why I pretty much disappeared from YouTube for like a year. And that's basically just like what happened to treatment. I mean, obviously there's a lot more nitty-gritty stuff that happened to treatment and like a lot more details and everything, but I mean, for the most part, that's like the gist of things. Yeah. And I mean, right now, currently how I am not seeing any therapists because there's no one here really qualified or available for me to see. I'm possibly gonna be trying to see someone from out of town, but I mean, that's like super difficult, so I don't know if that'll work. And I mean, I've honestly just been kind of like trying to survive since treatment, because I went to treatment and let all of like my walls get broken down, you know, to like, because the way therapy works is they break down all your walls so that they can find out the root of the problem and start from there. And that's super awesome if you're around long enough to actually find out that root and, you know, help the person out of it. But like they weren't. Like nobody was. So, yep. So now it's just medication. And I mean, that helps, certainly. It makes it so I can sleep at night. Sometimes, for the most part, I mean, I get like some sleep every night at least, which before I wasn't. My anxiety is just so bad recently. It's really bad. Just gonna be honest with you guys, it's super fucking bad. Like, I have a super hard time leaving my house most days. I have a super hard time talking to other people. I have a super hard time, you know, like, getting the guts up to, like, go see friends. Like, I don't get why that's such a big issue for me right now, but, like, going and seeing my friends is apparently, like, super fucking difficult for me right now. And what makes it harder is that I don't have a car. I'm stuck out pretty much 30 minutes from everyone. So, I mean, it's currently easier for me to just stay in my room or stay at my house and just, you know, do art to try and distract myself from what's happening inside my brain. And I know that's not like a super great goal long term, which is why I am going back to college starting fall. But this is what happens when you send someone to treatment and then send them home too early. Basically, I went into treatment with super great intentions, and I felt like things were going to be on a really good path. I went to treatment. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot in general, and life was starting to look hopeful. And then it like all came crashing down on me at once, and pretty much all the progress I made felt like it just disappeared, and I was just like thrown straight back into being extremely depressed. And I've just been trying to drag myself out of that for the last like 8 months. I've just been trying to make it through every single day. That's the point where I'm at right now, is just making it through the day, making it through the next day. I mean, like right now, I'm just starting to think about making it through the next day. Like, up until now, it was just making through every single day. Now I'm thinking about tomorrow. Because that's, like, how my brain lets me live right now. Because that's all I have room for. You know? But, yeah, if you guys want me to talk about treatment anymore, or you guys want me to talk about Faye anymore, or you guys want me to talk about my experience, I don't know, whatever. If you guys have any ideas for what else I should talk about regarding this topic, feel free to add it below. And thank you for watching. And I'm going to be getting back into camming soon on Community, which I will link below. So, go find me there. Thank you for watching. Love you guys.